conversations we have, and then there are conversations that shape how we think, how we lead, and how we move forward. This is one of those conversations. Welcome to Curated Conversations, a space where ideas are not just shared, but explored with intention, clarity, and depth. I am the energetic EJ, and my work revolves around voice, presence, and meaningful dialogues, designing conversations that do not simply inform, but transform. This platform was created for thought leaders, visionaries, and change makers who carry important ideas, but understand that sometimes the most powerful insights emerge through intentional conversation, not just monologue. Here, we go beyond surface level talking points, we unpack perspective, we challenge assumptions, and we create space for conversations that truly matters. And today, we are stepping into a conversation that touches the heart of society itself, men, fathers, and the role they play in shaping family dynamics. Joining me today is a respected project and transformation leader, a strategic thinker, and a man deeply passionate about leadership, structure, and impact. With over 2 decades of experience leading large-scale transformation initiatives across government and private sectors, he has built a reputation for driving meaningful change, leading high-performing teams, and helping organizations move from complexity to clarity. His work reflects a strong belief in responsibility, intentional leadership, and legacy. Please help me welcome Charles Essien to the Curated Conversation. Mr. Charles, it's an honor to have you here today. How are you doing?
Yeah, thank you, EJ. I'm happy to be here and I'm doing great.
How are you feeling today?
We give God praise. I'm feeling fine. I'm excited and I'm happy.
Awesome. I'm happy you're here. And you know, when we talked about this conversation earlier on, that we're going to have this conversation, there is a thought that there's a connection I have to the conversation, and I think it's a very, very important one to have, right? So, but I would love to hear from you, but also so that people who are going to watch this can get the context with which you feel like this conversation is very important. Why are we having this conversation? We're talking about men, fathers, and the role that they play in family or in the family dynamics. Why is it important for us to have this conversation?
Okay, EJ, thanks for asking that question. It's been a burden to me for a while now because of the things I see, the things happening around us, and what we actually call the bedrock of the society, which is family. So, and when we talk about family, what we're talking about, and key in that is that we have the husband, we have the wife, we have the children, and every other extended member of that family. So, the worry I have for a long time is, what is the role of each of these members of the family? And then coming to point, what is the role of the man in the family? We all know about the concept of the family, which comes with our creator. It was a key thing. So what role was each person supposed to play? And how do we mend this bedrock and make it solid so that we can actually see the value that was meant to be derived from families? So that is why I get into this conversation. It has been a burden, and I feel truly it could be one or two who might also learn or might also have things to do that will help to better this conversation and also to better the value we would derive from it.
Absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to the conversation as well, because I know we've had off-camera conversations, and there are some things you said about the dynamics of family itself and the importance of making very important decisions early on, when, in fact, before the family is created, while the family is born, and how as the family progresses. And so I'm looking forward to that conversation. So if you're listening at this point, I want you to pay attention. Just Also, if this conversation touches your heart, please do share with somebody who might also benefit from it, okay? And I believe everyone would benefit from it, whether you are the man or the woman. So my next question is, let's go, now that we're talking about family, I love how you started with saying family is the bedrock of the society. And I think we also learned that when we were in secondary school, when we did social studies. Family is the smallest unit in the society. So what does an ideal family look like from your perspective?
Okay. Like when we talk about an ideal family, like I said, is not complete. Family is not complete without these various elements. The father, the mother, the children, and other extended members of that family. So an ideal family is that family that you have every of these units integrated, every of these units working together for a purpose, every of these units being there, not just for themselves, for the betterment of the society, which we know is the bedrock. Because everything that we're going to have in the society is going to come up from this component, from this integration of these different units. So when you're talking about building a society, building a nation, a community, building a nation, you need to first of all look at the bedrock. How are they built? So that is that. So a unique family is that family that together form that bedrock that build a successful society.
I love that. And I love the part where you said the family, an ideal family is a family that is integrated together for a purpose. And so it means that every member of that family understands the purpose of that family.
Yes.
And so we're working in our different roles, but we know the goal we have as a family. And so that's that beautiful thing that makes that family unique, which is the purpose for that family. Okay, so fantastic. So when you picture this ideal family, for example, who would you say is at the center of holding it together?
Now, family is not our concept. It's the concept that God gave to us. After God has done everything about creation, for He to see that society works, He turns to creating family, which started with the man. And then the woman came, and then the children follows and all that. So the center of it all is the creator, which is God. And then you now begin to have roles that were set to be played for the unity and for the function and the purpose, the family and the society.
I love it. God is the centerpiece that holds every family together. And for me, it begs to say, if the centerpiece is not in the picture, would that family really stand?
No. It's like you're saying building a house without a foundation. Building the house without the concept of that house. Because it goes about, when we talk about the center is not just there as a figure. The center is there as a supplier. The center is there as that part that integrates every of this. Remember, there are different segments, there are different subsets, which is the father, the mother, the children, the other. So the center is there to drive those different units.
Right.
And all that. So without the center, there's not going to be a driver. And that also would help us. Acknowledging that there is a center will also give that credence to every component of the family to know where to look onto.
When there is issues. I love that. That is so powerful. That is so powerful. Now let's bring it home to you, because I personally believe, as a person of faith, that when an idea or a thought or a desire keeps pounding at your heart, there is a reason. And most times our experiences are connected to it, right? So let me ask you this. Did you grow up in that kind of family? That is this family, this ideal family you talked about? Or is this something that you've seen in others, or you imagine for yourself when you said, I want to start a family, this is how I want it to be? Did you have the experience before, or did you just maybe decided that no, this, what I'm saying, it's not looking like what it should be, and I'm going to create something different?
Okay, for me, when you talk about growing up, because first thing we use to cover ourselves is that, for us believers, we said, do you grow up Did you grow up in a Christian family? Do you grow up in a godly family? If you want to take that, I would say yes. I grew up in a Christian family. But when you're talking about, did you grow up in that unique family, that ideal family? No, I did not grow up in that ideal family. I didn't grow up in that ideal family. Ideal in the sense that we had a Christian home. We knew the maker, we know the source, but were we actually following, looking up to, and allowing the maker to run, to go as he has? No, that was not there. And that also, growing up in that, as at that time felt that was unique. But as I grow up in life, as I get in, or knowing what a family stands to be and seeing things around, now dawn on me, no. The ideal thing that was expected somewhere was missed. Because of also other issues that we felt that were necessary to hold on to. So that ideal family wasn't that family I grew up with. And coming to also growing, I also see that we're missing it up because maybe our parents also did not actually take time to look at what makes an ideal family. And so that also brought that burden to me to say, growing up now, I try my best to look at that thing that will make an ideal family and see also few experience here, few experience there, few learning here and few learning there. But I just felt it's time to also share it around so that others too who are going through that might actually, what do we look at, what makes this ideal family?
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So let me ask this before we move on to another segment, or to a deeper question, is to say that, is this ideal family we describe now, is this something you build or is it something you choose to protect?
Ideal family is both, and ideal family is protected.
Please go deeper.
Now, when you say building things, is that there must be bedrock. There must be things you build. If you, example, you want to build a house, there's going to be a concept, there's going to be a design, there's going to be an expectation.
Right.
Then you begin to now lay those foundations, lay those blocks that will build up that. So for an ideal family, first is that to understand what is the purpose? What is that purpose? What is the value we need to? What are we looking out to? So with knowing that now, you begin to put things in place that will help you to achieve that.
Right.
That is building. Now, protecting it is that when you finish building a house, you must do one or two things to protect that house. There's going to be rain. There's going to be sun.
Right.
There's going to be turbulent and all that. So what do you put that when this happens, the house will be protected? So an ideal family too need to be protected because you're going to be facing those external things that are beyond your control. So what do you put in place that when they come in the house, you talk about putting the right window, the right door, the right roofing and all that, so that when the wind comes, they can't get into. So in their family too, you need to put that protection around it. So you build it and you protect.
I love it. Can you kind of paint a picture of what building could look like practically? Let's say you're speaking to a young couple or maybe intending couple, right? Because I think that's the best place to start. You don't start, like they say that you don't patch the roof when it is raining. You patch it before it rains. So let's say you're speaking to an intending couple. What would you say? What are some elements they can look at when it comes to building? And then in the same line, speak to somebody who is already in the building. What does one thing that practically looks like protecting it, what can it look like?
Now, for building, for the intending couple, first is that what is the purpose? What is the purpose? You need to come to establish that. And also understand that it has to do with two different people. Right. Two different persons coming together, which before now must have had a purpose for themselves or must have had a plan for themselves. So we are not coming now to fine tune to make it one. So you need to sit down and agree, what do I want? How do I want my family to be? What do you want? So by the time you understand that for intended couple, you need to know, what do we want? First of all is that before you even come to what you want, what is the maker? What does he expect from us as a family? So when you know that now, how do we align with this? With the plans we have, with the thoughts we have, how do we run it and all that? Then you now begin to know what to let go and what to add together. So in this, the first thing there is that there must be togetherness.
Right.
You must be together. It's not individual's idea. It's not going to be individual purpose. It's going to be central purpose. In line with what Ameka said. Then I can take us back, maybe while talking that as an example, take us back to how was the family from originally was created. God finished creation and then came and created man. And then said man shouldn't be alone. And before now, he has given man a purpose.
Right.
The purpose of tending the garden. Then he said, he gave him authority of naming, which he did. After that, God now saw that, so he can't do it alone. He now brought the woman. And then that was the beginning of the family. So both of them had to be there to tend the garden based on the instruction man God. So also the intending couple that are coming to build a family, both of you are coming to tend something in line with your purpose, with the purpose. So that is for them. So that unity must be there. That understanding must be there that both of us are acting towards a purpose and begin to build on that. Because in the time of planning, building on that, you'll be able to know what to put aside and what to add.
Right.
What is relevant with the things we are building. So you now begin to bring that up. So first thing for the intended couple is that they must be together. Concerning that purpose. And they must also, both of them, understand and agree to the purpose of the family. And that will help in building. Then you are talking about the
people
protecting
already,
who are there. Yes, like we said, turbulence will come. They are going to be wind. They're going to be like now we're talking about climate change, which means we didn't used to have rain and now beginning to see rain and all that. So in that midst that you're there, what do you do? First of all, is to come back together and say, what has been our purpose? What has been that thing that we have not done right? So what can we do again to reinforce this building? We have finished building this house. When we're putting the protectors, we didn't consider that this will happen. So what do we do? What do we need to break? What do we need to add? So in all that, we still boils down to coming back together, being that presence at that moment, and then not relegating what you should do to others. So once we come to that point, we can together see where we have failed, what we need to do, and together agree to sit down and rework it and make it work better in line with the purpose.
So good. So good. And I hope we're paying attention. I know you're paying attention. And I would love to hear from you what is coming to you from the conversation so far. If you're watching the full length of this on any platform it's going to be on, please type in the comment at this point. What is coming out for you from what you've heard so far? Some of the things that has jumped at me is the fact that when you said, especially the protecting part, to say that it just comes back to buttress the fact that this thing called a family, marriage and building this bedrock of the society is a continuous work. So the fact that we're done building this building does not mean that we leave it like that. We have to continue to protect it. And sometimes there will be climate change. And when there's climate change, we have to go back to the purpose and say, okay, is there anything we need to tweak with this purpose? Are there things we've learned along the way that has changed our perspective? So can we come back and say, okay, what do you see about this? What do I see about? Are we still seeing the same thing? Because I feel like with this thing you said, I feel like there are people who have stopped seeing things the same way. And so it already brings problem for the purpose. It already causes, what would I say now, division towards the purpose. So there's no longer one purpose. And so it's important that we continue to have that. Just like a company, you always have every quarter, there's a quarterly meeting to look at what's working. What's working, what's not working. This is so important. Thank you for bringing that out. I'm learning so much from this conversation. I hope you are as well. Let's now come back to the role of a man. What is the role of a man in the family?
Coming from my own experience, we grew up to hear and to see our father providing. So we grow up to know that the function of provision is the man. And you are encouraged to do everything to provide.
Right.
Sometimes we use even the scripture to buttress it, that if you don't provide for your family,
you're worse than an infidel.
So that's the primary, we've come to learn or to see that the primary purpose of man is to provide. But sitting down also to review, to look at the author of marriage and the beginning, was that actually the purpose of the man in the family? I come to realize that no, that wasn't actually the main purpose. It could be part of the purpose for a man in the family. So take us back to creation. Adam was created to tend the garden. God was the one who did the provision.
Right.
God was the one who brought the animal to him to name.
Right.
God was the one who brought the plant and everything. After he had prepared the garden, he drops in there. So if you want to back that to that, original purpose of a man was to tend the garden. And where is the garden? The family. Because the family makes the society. That was why God said it wasn't law. So when we miss that point of tending and jumping to take the role of God of providing, we most time miss it. We are not saying provision is not part of it. Because when we talk about provision too, another myth in it is that we feel provision is just finances. Provision is not finances. Provision is direction, is leadership.
Right.
Provision is part of companionship. Provision is part of being there. Your presence is the best of the first of the provision.
Right.
Because if your presence is not there, you can't turn.
Yes.
You can't turn in absent as an absentee father. You can't turn. The Adam wouldn't have been in another garden to turn the Garden of Eden. He must be there. That was why the scripture proceeds to say that God normally comes down in the cool of the evening. Because he was there. That was where he was supposed to be. So for the man, yes, society said we need to provide. Yes, we need to provide. But the major thing we were called to do was to tend, was to be there, was to that our presence was the major thing we call. And we could also attest to it in today's world. The women are providing. The children, we've seen cases, children are providing. Strangers are providing. Neighbors are providing. The government is providing. The society providing. But the present is the duty of the man. So I've come to learn that dynamic of building that bedrock, there must be a present. And that is sole responsibility of the man.
Wow. That is so good. That is so good. Like as you see, because when I'm in conversations like this, I'm seeing pictures. And I love it when you said, see, that presence, like the Creator made man to tend the garden. And the garden in this context is the family. So you being present in your family is you tending it. That is, you know what is going on in that family. You know, we've had cases of, it's only the woman that knows what's going on. Like we've seen content online that even the fathers don't even know the date of their children's birthdays. They don't remember it. They're like, I'm busy providing. I provided now. I paid for the hospital bills now. I paid their school fees now. I paid the rent now. But is that the deepest or the most valuable, not even the most valuable, is that the main role? To provide? No. And you know, this conversation could go very deep, which is the role of the provider is left to the author of the garden. So don't drag that position with him. Rather submit for supply and then tend. Oh, so good. I love it. Okay, this thing you just said now, this wisdom you've shared, were you taught, or like, were you specifically taught by someone, or did you pick it up, or was it revealed to you?
Like I said, I grew up in a family. I felt when you're talking about societal family, we were a Christian family. Then, but over time, I realized that we were not that family that God actually wants. I've hung around a lot of people. I have senior friends. I've looked at what has been happening in their home. I've seen cases of things which we felt outside were working right, and over time, I've seen problem arriving. Then, if I take it back to myself, sometime in my life, I have a mother, I had a father. My father was there providing. For example, my father was one person I will run to every time for anything because I know he will give it to me. He will give it to me. But my mother was there for the everyday life. And two unique things happened that really, when I sit back, I look at it, was that after my serving, the usual 1 year after my university education, this 1 year we served with the government. I was serving somewhere very far from my home. I was serving somewhere that then, if you want to do a trip back home, is normally a 2 days trip.
Oh, wow.
And back then, my mother was still alive. I discovered that after my service, I even had a very creative job, a wonderful job. It was an offer in the bank that would have paid me so much. But I still had to go back. Left that and went back because I had my mother there. And then because I saw her as someone that every step of my life communicated with. Maybe to back up, my father was a contractor with the government, so was someone who traveled, who wasn't there. Always, but he provided everything. So I got back to until when I lost my father. Same issue to happen when my father finally retired and then come back home. Then I was come back. Where I was living was like just a 20 minutes drive to where my family home was with her. But I see myself not being around my father. He wanted us to be around. He wanted to have me at all times. But I will make plans, but I see myself declining on those plans, those appointments and all that. At a particular point, I had to ask myself, what is really happening? My father is very close by that. At the close of work, I could drive down to sit with him. But I will make those plans and I will decline in them and all that. It now come to me. It now dawned on me, maybe by revelation, by God telling me, I didn't have a relationship with my father. Yes, my father provided, but he wasn't there. So I don't even know how to talk with him. He doesn't understand me, I don't understand him. So even while I was struggling internally to connect with him, we couldn't connect. As at that time, it was late. I was an adult.
Yes.
Have formed my life, have formed my opinion.
And he just like, where does he fit?
I can't fit in.
Oh my
but
God.
Sometimes when we are trying to go sit with him to talk, you see that after 20 minutes, we end up quarreling. Because our perspective is different.
Very different. Oh.
The outlook. So that came to me that yes, provision wasn't all. The present was what mattered. Because I tried to compare that with my mother when she was alive. That I could travel that far, want to be around. It happened that sometimes I was living alone. I've started walking, that at the close of work, I would drive first to see my mom. I would drive first to see her. We could talk, we could gist, we know where it's going to. I can figure out her body language that, okay, if she's behaving like this is where it's going to land. But I never had such relationship with my father. So learning that, seeing that, coming to that revelation, it now dawned on me. You have to be present. That is goes far beyond providing. He has to do. And you have to be present for you to be able to pass on your experience, for you to be able to pass on. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, present means a whole lot of things.
Absolutely. Wow. So, I mean, you're just getting into my next question for you, which is you already touched on it a bit with the story you shared with your dad, but I want you to go a bit deeper and maybe, expand it a little bit. Is where do men most miss connection with their families? Where do they miss it the most?
Because society has made us to believe, have pushed it down us from growing up that you are to provide. You are to provide. I even have some homes that you see a male child is not even allowed to come close to the kitchen, the other things, because they say that's not your role. Your role. Go read your book. Go do this so that you can provide for your family. So we have grown up with that thought. We have grown up with that mindset.
Right.
And then because we've grown up with that mindset, we'll do everything to provide. Right. Even against our presence. So where we men has missed a lot is that we are replacing our role with something else. We are taking a secondary to be the primary, right, which is provision. Let us know that we are not saying men are not to provide, but what in the midst of the provision, there should be that presence.
So, what do you think? Because I just imagine somebody is hearing this now and they're fighting it like, so if I don't provide now, it's still the same society that will say I'm useless and all of that, right? So what do you think a man who is disconnected from his family because they are taking on this and taking it so deep with the provision thing, what do you think they're telling themselves to make them continue on that path that is not making them pause to actually consider this thing you're saying?
A lot of things, like I said, first is trying to please the society. Making excuses that I'm going to provide. My children need to go to school. My family need to live well. I need to pay the bills and all that. That's first thing that we tell ourselves. And then because of that, we will do everything to make those things available. So that the society won't find us wanting in that area. So that we won't meet that trend. So we go we use that to convince ourselves and all that. But the question is this: can we do that and still be present? Yes.
Please talk about that one.
Yes. Like I said, from the beginning, when we come together, we need to look at what is the purpose of the family. Is to be a bedrock for the society.
Right.
And what is an ideal society? A society that thrives, a society that is successful, a society that goes to the intake that there is love, there is care, there is look out for everyone. That's the great right society. And so if the family is to build up that, somebody needs to learn it.
Right.
Somebody needs to learn it. If we are to learn it from our parents, our children have to learn it from us. They need to learn how to love. They need to learn how to care. They need to learn how to be for each other. So while you are providing, you need to be there to teach. Now let me refer us something that this presence means, because this present might ask, is this just to sit in the house?
Right.
You might say, this present, is it just to sit? Or somebody said, you get incident that said, okay, maybe people that works offshore, people that works away from home, weekend I go back to the house, and then I work 3 months, 1 month I go back to the house and all that. Do we still call that presence? To some extent, no. To some extent, no. You are present there, but you are not impactful. You are not part of that family. Family is a daily thing. Building a family is a daily thing, especially for children. They learn from you daily. And one thing too I've come to realize is that once we want to make up for this present, maybe weekly, once a week, once a month, what happened that short time is that we try to please everybody. Because we know we have a short time
with them.
Is it the children? We want to do everything with them. And because we are also there for that short moment, they also tend to play up, act up.
Right.
Everybody tends to act up.
So you don't get the full picture of what really
is. The person is. what you're going, what value. They are not learning. They are not asking those questions to know where are we going. So everybody tends to run is our life. So then the woman, there's this concept too. We said, you have a good wife. She's doing it. She's carrying on. She's taking the decision. She's deciding things. And it works well at the start. Over time, we get used to it. She also gets used to it that she has to take the decision.
Right.
With or without you. Because you are providing. Now, let us draw us back. I had thought before now, we used to think that Adam wasn't around when Eve was given the apple. That Adam only came back and Eve gave him the apple. But if you read through the scripture, you discover that Adam was there. Right at that point, because the scripture said Eve ate it and gave it to. So he was there. So the question was that Adam had the instruction.
Right.
So why didn't he guide Eve at that time? Adam wasn't present in that way, in aspect of leadership. He wasn't there.
He was there,
but he
was not
leading.
performing. He was not leading.
So when we talk about the present,
it's not just physical present.
We're talking about that leadership, that direction.
So then, does it mean that it's possible? Because when you talked about, people who have dynamic jobs. So let's say, for example, a pilot travels a lot.
Yeah.
So that means they're not always there. So they're always on the move. So with this part of presence you just explained, which is like the leadership.
Yeah.
So is it possible for them to have that kind of job? They're not fully like all the time there physically, but they put a system in place to ensure that they are impactful in that family. Would that be presence as well?
When you ask the question about building,
yes,
when you ask the question about building a family and all that, is that we also need to know stages of building.
Right.
We need to know the stages of building. It's like, let's take it to planting. There are season stages you need to water.
Yeah.
There are stages you don't need to water. That even when you don't water, it can still grow on its own. There are stages you need to watch around the weed. To weed the garden, there are stages that even when you don't weed, the thing becomes dead. So we need to understand these stages in the family. Now when we talk about the family, it's not just the husband and the wife. We're talking about the children as well.
Yeah.
At what stage do you really need to be there? Because what I call of present, he might not be all the time. But at that period of building, the children are coming in. At what stage do you need to? And survey has come to prove that you have between the 0 and 10 to impact a child. You have the 0 and 10 to build that relationship. You had that 0 to 10 for the child to feel that your idea supersedes his or her own idea. So whatever he or she is doing, he will check with you. So the question is that as a pilot, can you find a time you can relax to do that, to play that role before you take? Because it's all choice. It's all choice. You can decide to fly every week. You can decide to fly once a month. It's all choice you want to make. But you say, why do we fly every week? We fly every week because we need to have the resources to provide.
It's choices. It's a choice.
So when you decide to fly because you have growing up children and you need to be 3 times, you can decide to just fly to a short location. I just met someone 2 weeks ago who is flying the regional. And I asked him, why are you flying regional? Why don't you fly? He said he doesn't want to go away from the family. So he did decide to fly regional, where he goes and return back.
Every day. And that it might not be as lucrative, like the pay might not be much, but
it's not.
What is priority for him?
And he also proceeded to say, after this period that my last child is going to be here, after my last child, I'm going to take up a license to go far.
I see, yeah.
So the trouble now is, what do you prioritize?
And And how aware are you of the stages?
Yes. And I took time to look at every profession. I saw that you can make a choice in all of them.
Right.
You can decide to be top there. You can decide to be at the average for a purpose.
And for a reason and for a season. And those are part of the sacrifices we make.
So by the time you don't choose when to do it, when you don't choose when to prioritize, when to do this for the sake of one another, you one way or the other will have to do it. But when are you doing it? So the power, the place of choice for the purpose is where men have to come to.
Yeah. That's where they are missing the connection.
So I've come around, said, we are doing it for school. We need to go to there. But I've also discovered that just sending a child to school is not enough.
It's not enough. Yeah.
It's not enough. So you have to send, you have to check. So if I'm paying all I have, I'm working because I want to pay school fee and I'm not there, I may not like the result I will have.
Yeah.
Because I want my child to be in A school. But what if I take a C school and also have my present? To be when he comes in, I can now check, have you compared notes? Can you do this? That child will still come out to be the best.
The best, yes. Because now they have the best of both worlds. Like, okay, might not be like the top 10 schools, but at least the school that they are in is good enough, and they still have that in addition with you being there, being present for them, which is, it makes it balance for them as well than being in the best school, but the parents are not there to build that connection. Oh, dear daddies, dear fathers, dear husbands, I hope you're listening. We need you at home. And it's a choice. And at this point, I want us to bring in something. I want you to speak to the women. Because I know we can be problems. I agree. You know, like a woman is saying, two scenarios. Let me paint two scenarios here. One scenario is the woman is a career woman. So she's doing well in her place of work. And so she's getting some funds, and it's okay. She has no problem with, padding up for the family, and that's okay. And so the husband is not so much like hands-on, but is available. But at the same time, the husband is not pulling his weight, even with the presence, even with the fact that he's available, but the presence is not there. That's one scenario. The other scenario is the woman is, okay, both of them are career people, and they are doing okay. But the woman's taste is like, please, my child, my daughter cannot go to that school. My child cannot go to that school, and the husband is like, let us, so speak to both of them. But especially the woman, because I know that sometimes we women actually, our role, I know we're not talking about our role in this conversation, but it's almost like it's impossible not to touch it. So let's touch it a bit. What role can women play in helping the men stick with their role of being big providers, but also fully present?
Anyway, I'm not a woman, so I can't really, but I can't say. But also for the context of the family.
Yes.
For the context of the family, I rightly has pointed the origin of the family.
Yes.
The working of the family, which is, we have God there, we have the man, and then we have the woman and the children. Comes. And if you go through the scripture too, you also see roles are being given.
Yes,
to that and all that.
Yes.
None is denied of growth. None. The man, the woman, none is denied of growth. That also boils down to understanding what we wanted, the purpose. If together we have come to agree, we have come to see the right purpose in line with the Maker, we also doing everything to make it right. We also know the line of instruction. God speaks to both of us. He directs us on that. But it also has a setup plan, how he wants certain things to happen. So we need to agree to that. We need to first see that man, that he needs to bring that direction. It doesn't mean the woman can be given a direction. And that also brought me to, the concept these days will be that the women are doing it. Yes, you have women who are stepping up, who are running those family and successful and all that. But the question is this, was that the original role? And I've also come to interact with a lot of these women. You see that even when they are doing this thing, inward them, they are struggling.
Yes.
They wish it wouldn't have been that way. They step in to become the man. They step in to cast that vision. They step in to give them kudos to them. A lot are struggling doing it. And that is why, as you see any opportunity to break down, you see the way they break down, you'll be shocked. Is it this person? Just because you're fitting in a role that originally wasn't yours and all that. So if you want to say is that let us work together to make everybody effective in where it was called to. And you also know women will originally, or like you see, programmed or created to react. Originally created to react to things, to react to situation. Commonly, you can see a man that goes without the resources in the pocket and is still going, but a woman, for security, for safety, need to know that there's somewhere to fall to. So as a man, you need to show that direction, that you're present. You see, even if it is not the resources, is not there, my presence is there to cover it up. My presence is there to cushion and bring the woman to that assurance, to that place of total conviction that this man is there. He's willing to do everything to tend. Because sometimes when you are tending the garden, in the process of taking out the weed, you will hurt yourself. In the process of making things right, things might not be right. But when the woman knows that in the midst of this, the man is there.
In this together.
So she will now fall back to give her support. She will now fall back to give her advice, which you also listen to, and then come with that superior reason why it should be. So for me, what I can tell the woman is that do everything to support the man to be there. Look beyond the provision. Because there's a case too that the man has to do it because the woman feels that if you don't do this, he doesn't see you as
if you don't provide, he doesn't see you like you are a man.
So let's also give the men opportunity, encourage them that the present matters. The decision, the present in the child's life matters, not just the provision.
Right.
Not just providing the school fee and all that. Something shocking happened. I was doing research, I listened to a lot of valedictory message from high school students and all that. I keep hearing those valedictorian comes up and said, oh, I can remember when they want to thank their parents. You see, their mom, or even that, you hear them saying, oh, mommy, thank you that you were there while I was falling. You were there to give me that advice. When I said I wasn't ready to study again, you pushed me and all that. One thing I don't commonly hear the child said is that, thank you for paying my school fee. I hardly hear that.
True.
Hardly hear them saying, oh, I want to thank my parents for paying my school fee. No.
Like it's your job.
It's your job to do. But that point of going down and you were there. That point of trying to fail and you were there. That point of encouragement is what they see. One time I was listening to John Maxwell. I listened to him a lot. He said something. There's this men conference. He normally, he's a speaker. And the role in that conference is that you must be at the venue 1 week before the event date. Because all the speakers need to network. If you can't be there 1 week, you can't speak in that event.
Oh, wow, okay.
He said there was this particular year, he was on board the flight to attend. His son just called him and said, what happened? He just separated from his girlfriend. John he said he had to come down from the flight and call them and say, sorry, I can't be here. I need to be with my son.
Wow.
So he declined that speaking. That was a war speaking. That was going to speak to the world. He declined it to go back to be with his son.
Oh.
And the end, that wasn't, apart from the end, was that at the still end, the event had to bend the rule to ask him to still come and speak.
So he won both ways?
He still won both ways. So for that was that what was primary? He said his son. Being there at that his broken moment, what was matter to him. So present matters. Present matters. So for the fathers, yes, as much as you're going to provide, as much as you are doing this, what would build that foundation we want to build is that present. Because it goes beyond you. It goes there to provide direction, guidance. It goes there to be there. Yes, you didn't do it well today. I know you will do it there tomorrow.
Wow, so good, so good. This is no doubt that God really laid this in your heart. And I love how you just segue into my next question when you talked about, when you shared that observation you have about valedictory students, just, thanking parents for the emotional support and for the presence, right? Now, money is where men hide, right? And the truth is, it's a genuine responsibility. But again, sometimes it might be a substitute for presence because just, we've said that and we've established that over and over again. So I would say that what is the role of money in family? We've heard the role of the man, a little bit of the woman. What does money?
We can't do without money. We have to meet the things of this world with money. Money is that currency that we need to address everything. But the question is that, do we need to throw our purpose away because of money? No. First of all, is that we need to realize the purpose of family. Like I said from the onset, God is the one who provides.
Right.
And I've also searched through the scripture. Every time it talks about it, still mentions provision. He said, I will prosper the work of your hand. He said, I will grant you favor before kings and princes. He said, I will teach you the skill of making wealth. So if you look at all this, it still boils down to him for providing.
Right.
So where do we present ourselves? He knows that we need this money to provide. But the question we do, or the way we miss it, where we hide in the place of this providing, to elude ourselves, to deny ourselves the present. And we begin to make it look like all we are to do is to provide. Because of that, we take up things we ought not to take up. We take up jobs we ought not to take up at that moment. Like I said, it's seasons. That season of raising your family, that season, we need to sacrifice a whole lot of things. Let me give you a scenario that happened to me early part of my life. Got married, 1 year into our marriage, her first child came. And we're pretty just working for each other. My wife just resigned her job because we both had to resign our job from where we were because we needed to, like I talk about the purpose, because we needed to be together. I was in another city, she was in another city. Before we got married, we just decided we need to resign our job to come to a central place so that together we will be there for ourselves. So we are starting up in a new city. So there was that tendency that the daughter comes in, we're doing some parenting supporting to say, everybody there, I think there was that, put your child in the crèche, and so that you can take up these jobs. But before we do that, we will have also been a victim. But we have decided from the onset that we are going to be present
together.
Our own was that we told ourselves that our first 10 years we're going to give in till our own was that till our first child is 10. Because we knew that if we impact in the first child, if they could be that replica. That's what we asked God. We're deliberate. We asked God, please, our first child should be a lady, a female, so that we feel that if we can pass, she can play the role of the mother, so that after this, we can just be given instruction. We know that somebody is there to follow. And God also answered us. So the first child was that. So because we said we wanted to be present there. So one of the way was that if she was taking this job, she won't be there. So she goes up and comes back about 4 or comes back about 6. And I take up this other one, so because a young family and all that. So we started going around for creches to find a crèche to put the child and find out what to do. Then we had to, mother was paying a little of this. I was earning a little of this and all that. So now, so by the time we got there to pray, they said, we were told, I think the pay will be like a 20, 30,000 of a currency to put every month. To be able to do that, we needed to take another job. We needed to take another job. And now taking another job means that we won't just be there. We needed to drop a child in the morning and probably come back to pick about in the evening and all that. But we sit down to say, this go contrary to what we wanted for our family. But we need this money. We need this money to be able to take care of this. So we sit down to now do a calculation.
Calculate.
Now, if I'm taking a job, if I'm taking a job, I will have extra. What was to be added was enough money to pay for the crèche and all that. And also, I start talking with parents. Okay, to crèche, what do you do? I discovered that there were minimums you can do. Take example, the pampers, the things you need to supply in school and all that. You need to supply for the child to be there. But if this child was at home, we won't need to go extra for this extra supply and all that. And we look at it that at the end of the day, the extra thing that we are getting is going to go for the supply.
So the extra money you might get for taking on the
job is going to be what will support the supply.
Okay.
So we told ourselves, so why do we take extra job and not be present?
Not be there.
And then the extra money that comes goes for the supply. So why don't we sit back and be there with the child? We are not getting extra money, but what we have can take care of us. And so we decided to shut down and take care and be there with her. And it didn't go through that. Over time, after the experience and everything, we discovered that the effect health-wise on the children, understanding the family basis were not there because they grew up with others. They were taking others' identity. So it goes beyond meeting. We would have, the society needed us to do that.
Like,
that was the money. So, but we discovered that yes, we need this money, but with what we can take from here, it will be enough with our presence to take care of the child and also build the child to be who be us
the family.
And also meet up the benchmark or the society we want to build. So when you're talking about the money, yes, money plays the role.
Right.
But is it how much of the money do you need? So people have taken up, have hide behind the money not to be around. So what I come to realize is that you can still have the money, but not in that volume you want, and still be present. And during at that period, remember I keep saying there's a season for everything.
Yes.
For us, over time now, we can dive into the society and live the way we want to and be absent, but we have been present when you needed to be present.
The most.
Where you needed to impact the child, where you needed to have influence, where the child needed to know you and fall back to you to know that, okay, for every step of the life, I just need to check with these people. I just need to check with my father. I need to check with my mother. I need to know this is this. So once we create that, we can now leave the child. Because truth be told, for how long is the child going to live with us?
That's the thing. And even the fact that science has proven that the first 10 years is the formative years, right? I think it's not too much of a sacrifice, really, because the 10 years will come and go, but that window is lost forever once it's after that 10 years. And if you don't pay attention to build with them for that 10 years, you lose it forever. Forever, because again, once they become that preteen and then teenagers, they already have a mind of their own.
Adding to that, when you talk about what has been that burden that really caused. And I said, no, I think because there are times you feel that we all know I'm this person, I'm a very private person that feels that everybody's learning, everybody knows
everybody knows what to do.
What to do. So you don't need to, there's nothing strange from anybody. But I've come to realize that in recent time, interacting with people, interacting with young family, come to realize that people are still missing it. Come to realize that people have put in, fathers have put in time, or not time, put in resources into their family, expecting something. Then at the point of coming back, they see it happen different from what they expected. They have poured into children, provided, gave them the best school, but they were not there, taking every kinds of job, growing in their career to the best so that more money comes in, traveling the children around and all that. Then retirement sets in, and they come back home and discover that they don't have those children.
The children that you did all of it for does not even know you.
Some painfully that is that they come back now and then begin to compete with their wife because they felt the wife had the attention of the children more than they do. But they were the ones who provided the money. But the wife was there. The mother was there. The children have learned to fall back to ask the mother every step of the day, what do I do? So every time you come to tell them do this, they go to check with their mother.
Mom.
They go to check, and some men are not liking it.
Yes.
So it's creating friction now in homes. It's creating friction, especially the environment we are now. A lot of young guys are growing without their family just because they need to be here to provide for the family. And when they get back, the relationship is not there. When they get back, they are now beginning to contest. So the recent conflict we are having now is the husband and the wife, because the husband feels the children listen more to the wife. So it's really something I feel, yes, there's room for money, but there's more room for presence.
Wow. I mean, this has been a very, very thought-provoking conversation, and I hope that it is provoking thought for you. Like as you share and everything, I'm also looking at my life and looking at my childhood, and I think for me, for my family, like God ensured at some point, my daddy was a captain, so was a sailor, he was always traveling, and I think the kid that had it the worst for all of us was our last born, because most times when my mom is about to give birth, like my mom, all of us were born when my dad was not around. All of us were five of us from my mom, but it's often like maybe my mom gives birth and then the next week my dad comes back, or my mom gives birth and then 2 weeks. But our last baby, my dad left maybe like this week, and that week my mom gave birth, and so he was away for like a whole month. And so going back and forth. So at the time my baby sister was like 2-3, he didn't know, and she didn't know our dad. Like, for our dad was around like this, she will be running like, who is this one? And in that kind, that's what I was saying earlier on, in that kind of scenario, like, this is the job he's been doing. This is the job that has sustained the family, right? And so my mom was always the one that we knew and all of that. But I think life just really happened. Life made it compulsory that the last years of his life, he lost his job at some point, early 2000, and he didn't really get back on his feet until he passed, right? But all that period actually made us know him better, because now he was at home. We got to hear stories. We got to spend time with him. We got to just dream with him, talk to him. So I can really relate with what you say about presence. But I'm imagining imagine if he had done it the other way around. Like when we were younger, he chose to stay and we grew up then, so that when we were a bit older, everybody can just now get to know. I mean, but I'm grateful that we still get to spend time with him, to know him and all of that. But again, not everybody would have that opportunity. I mean, it looked like a setback, but with this conversation, it looked like, God redeemed the time for you, in causing things to happen that seem like, oh my God, this is bad news that he lost his job. But it actually created the bond that we now have in my family and my younger one. So that is quite an important conversation that we are having here today. And I'm really hoping that men, especially, because I feel like you said, because it's the role of the man to not only provide, but not even essentially provide, to be present and to tend. It is important that part of leadership comes from the man.
Yeah.
It is very important, so that the woman is playing a supportive role.
Yeah.
Not because the woman is dumb, not because the woman is not wise, but actually I think sometimes the women are wiser because of our intuition.
Yeah.
But it still boils down for the man to be there for the woman to advise, not for the woman to decide.
Yeah.
But for the woman to say, this thing you are saying, there's sense in it, but have you seen it this way? Do you see?
Yeah.
But that's for that ping pong to be there, for the man to be there, so that, And one more thing before we go on to the next question, and then we'll start to wrap this up, is that part where you said the man now delegates or leaves these decisions and all this running of the whole thing to the wife. And the wife gets used to it.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we get, that we have a thing that we women, we are multipliers.
Yeah.
So when that role is given and we own it, the truth is we own it, and sometimes we over-own it. Because now, even when you are coming as the man to say something, I'm like, but I've been I've been doing this all along. So why are you doubting me now?
Yeah.
Are you saying I don't have sense again? And that's another place that friction comes in. So how do we kind of balance that? Say for a season, because there's also there's a part of leadership that says you delegate.
Yeah.
So that the people, your subordinate, can learn from experience.
Yeah.
So that could be the positioning of a man. But how do they handle it in such a way that it doesn't go in a way that the woman feels like, what's going on here? That's, how would you?
You see, when we talk about delegating comes from a place of confidence. Delegating comes from a place of confidence, from a place of experience.
Yes.
If you're not there first, the woman can't even attest to your experience and your strength. So if you're not there, we all need to test it and see it. Even God said, test me and see. We all need to test it. That's why if you notice, if you back down to any young person could check, or remember your early stage of marriage, that first few months, there's always a conflict. There's always conflict of opinion.
Yes.
Because the woman who said, I've been doing it, you said, I've been doing it. But there must be, when you begin to walk, one will begin to see, okay, this is what I should fall back to. This is what we should do. Okay, if he leads this way. Because one thing I want us also to know, coming to see, most times, because when you trust in God, sometimes he shows you, he says, start. Abraham was told go. He didn't tell him what way. Men always receive instruction that way. Start. But the woman will build that trust. So that's why I say when we say present, not just sitting, he gives you opportunity to build all these needed tools. Trust, dependence, knowing that he can be there for me and all that. So when you do that now, they check in now. She checking in on you. He's going to be checking in on something. Knowing that, okay, checking on it because he has a superior idea. He might it, okay, and I pick one or two things from him. And you see that when you do that, she's not just checking on you, on the family. She check even on her career, on her growth. Whatever she wants to do, she checks through with you. That's the same thing to that when the children comes into, and she will also say, let's check with this. And because you are there, you are present, God is a faithful God that he will also keep guiding you.
Right. So you often make the right decision.
Guiding you to that the confidence of the woman to check in, the confidence of the wife to run that. But when you are not there, you are just sending the resources. You make her now, she begin to find ways and fall and rise and then begin to build up. Yes, I can do it. and Jen can do it and all that.
I don't need you anymore.
I don't need. So by the time you come in now and begin to set boundaries again that was not there, why? Why are you doing this? So now are you distrusting me? I've been doing this thing and all that. And men, apart from all these things, the ego too comes in and said, why is she challenging? And
challenging my authority.
The part I've seen where it's also troublesome is that, you see, most times, once we leave that active thing that we were doing, the money don't come in the way it used to come in. So because it doesn't come in the way it used to, the first back thing the man used to cover is that because I'm not giving her the way I used to give her.
That's how she's
That's why she's acting like this. No, he's not. It's just that she has been used to. And I want to also set something here. No, people, there was a time we had a conversation. Somebody said, what of children that don't have parents? What of those? I don't know. I said, yes, they don't. But let us check at the statistics. How many of them come out? What is the statistics of them that come out to be that bedrock, to form that society that you want? Right. So there are cases that it might turn like your own case, that it happens that towards the end, you guys were able to build that bond. Right. And I also felt that your mommy too must have also played a very major role to not distance him from you girls. Yeah. Because there are certain cases that they will distance, they will not even put it to you that they are checking with your father to know if you should do that thing.
Yeah.
Because that takes me to my mother used to do something that even when my father was not at April, I know that thing comes from because she was doing a business, but she will also tell, I'm waiting for your father to give it to me. So it still points that it seems to
yes.
So that's all that.
That's
so there's that wisdom and all that. But if you ask me, we just need to sacrifice when we need to sacrifice and be there. And after that period, I have a young cousin of mine. He's a seller, like you said. He has been on ship, someone who goes there because it was good, he goes and all that. But immediately started his family. He pulled back and asked them to send him to the office.
Yeah.
Then the pay was reduced. He didn't mind. He wanted to be there. So what am I saying? There's always option to get alongside with the present. Because God has asked us to do that. So you always provide a way.
Put a blessing for it. I think here with that concept is that sometimes we just allow greed to get a better of us, because now you want to have more at the debt, and you don't see it in that moment. But the truth is that the sacrifices you're making now, especially when you're putting the right things first, like the things that matter the most, it will always pay up later. So let me ask you, what are the consequences? I know we've said it generally, but maybe we'll just touch on it as we're wrapping up now, which is, what are the consequences of families not staying together?
Over in future, family that are not together, they're still going to disintegrate. The joy of seeing a growing family will not be there. There's going to be rancor. That's why we keep seeing now, you shockingly now that you see marriage of 25 years, 30 years are getting divorced. That's why we see now children are now on their own.
Cutting
off. There's no that connection. There's no family. Like example I said about my father. He wanted me towards the end of his life, but we were not there. We were not there. So there is no two ways about it. The dysfunction we're having in the society must originate from those families that the bedrock was not laid well. The bed was not so. And it's going to be more if we continue this way. Yeah. If we men are not there to cast a vision, to give direction, to support our women, to support our wives, to make the children, because they are seeing this thing. One thing we don't know is that they see this thing. So whatsoever they didn't learn from the family, they cannot replicate. So we are still going to go into the contract marriages that we are having now, what they call the partnership. Everybody, any little thing now, because they are not seeing that bonding, they are not seeing that fatherly role.
so they don't know how to play it. A lot are seeking mentorship from people they ought not to. A lot are seeking advice, trying to model other life that is. Every family has its culture. Every society is built by the culture of the family. So we're beginning to raise children with different culture, and there's no way we can be family. And the onions is on the man. Don't let money not be a deciding factor. Let the present comes, and then God will make a way and guide us to supply in that period. Because it's not going to be always.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is such an important message for people who are earlier on in their lives, people who are just starting their families. And I think this is very, very vital. You should pay attention to this. If you're planning to get married, if you've not had this conversation, this is a conversation you should have as a couple, like now. And if you're still in your early years, it's a vital one that you need to sit down and come back to and ask. But speak to men your age, men older than you, who, it's almost like, well, I missed it. What would you say to that man?
For me, for every day that there is life, there's opportunity to retweak, to review. I'm in the project management sphere, so I know that we can break in and we can realign projects based on the value. So no project is lost. We can realign it. So what I would say to men, my age, elderly one and the younger one, is that let's sit down and look at what is real, what is paramount. Then for us, that for some that has missed the opportunity, if there is still life, there is still time to come back and sit and say, let's talk about this thing. Let's understand the women. They are not trying to contest with us. Just that they have built up something. We gave them that room. So we just not take ego away, sit down with them and say, how do we restructure this thing? How do we get back to work it out? It is not finished. That's not there. So far there is life. Let's sit back. Let's come back to the concept of what marriage is. It might cost us to let go certain things. If that is going to be the cost, please let go. Build a family. Let's build a society that we want to see in future. Let's give our children that foundation to grow, to be themselves, to be what God wants them to be. Right. Let's do it. If not just for our sake, for the sake of the children and for the sake of the society. Let's come back and do it the right way. It's not too late. Like I said, we're going to sacrifice something. Let's take it up.
I love it.
And I trust that God will help us.
I love it. One more thing. I want you to go deeper in this part of the conversation, which is how would you have wanted your dad to rectify that distance or disconnect between you when he had those final years before? Like, did you wish that he could have done something, or what could he have done that would have maybe helped you connect better?
For me, is that first was that at that moment, we have all built our opinion. Because by the time I come to this realization, I was already married. For him, would have been I think he tried. That was why he wanted me to come around. He wanted me to come around all the time. Maybe then would have been to me. But you see, the opportunity was not there for me to come around. And that is the same thing too. A lot of us are going to feel, because our children over time now, before now we could know, now we don't know where our children will end up. So if that connection is not there, what will bring them back? We're going to have children that are going to be multinationals. So what will drive them to take that 16 hours flight? What will be that thing that they won't mind spending more on their lives because we visit them? Because if you're going to visit them in countries that every moment you pay for everything, what will be that thing that will say they won't mind paying extra because we are there? So sometimes it looks like get to a point that you might not remedy. So the best thing is just to act before that time. But for those that are there, just trust God, then together and see how to get back. but it's going to be a lot of work if they are not there.
Well, what a conversation we've had today. Men, fathers, you play such an important role in the society, in the family, and the family is incomplete without you. So here's our message to you today. Think about this conversation. Think about your role. Think about how you are currently playing your role. And see if where you stand right now is in the right place, is a place where 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you will be proud of the choices you're making today. If your answer makes you cringe, if your thoughts or thinking about it makes you shudder and feel like, oh my God, I'm on the wrong path, here is your call. This is exactly why this conversation was laid in Mr. Charles's heart to talk about it. And I hope that that person, if it is you, who needed to hear this so they can make a U-turn, reroute, make a decision, or choose wisely to begin to change the trajectory of what could be in the coming years, then please take action. And if you're struggling to do what you think is right, please reach out. Sometimes when another person hears your conversation, when you open up, there might be a different perspective that would help you make the right decision. So don't stay quiet. You can reach out to Mr. Charles. We're going to leave his contact in the description of this video, wherever you're going to watch it from. Reach out and please, please, please be present. Be present. Our world truly depends on it. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. And I hope that it has been a blessing for you today. Thank you. Bye-bye.